We begin with a terrifying event in Atlanta today. Screaming children flooding out of their elementary school. A gunman inside with a semi-automatic weapon. A scene harkening back to the tragedy that took place less than a year ago in Newtown, Connecticut. Today, thankfully, no one was hurt. But as children all over the country head back to school, questions abound. How did an armed young man stroll right into an elementary school? And why? Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami.
They're images no parent wants to see, and they're frighteningly familiar. Desperate teachers at the Ronald McNair Discovery Learning Academy outside Atlanta rushing the young children single file away from danger. And inside the elementary school, a young man with a gun on the loose.
We suspect that he came in behind someone who was authorized to be there.
It was only the second week of school when this all too familiar scene unfolded.
He started to fire from inside of the school.
He entered around 1 p.m. carrying an AK-47 knockoff and a number of other weapons. Sources tell ABC News the alleged gunman is 20-year-old Michael Brandon Hill from the Atlanta area. He was recently arrested for alleged aggravated assault on a police officer, terroristic threats, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. His connection to the school is unclear. The alleged gunman approached the front office, held the staff captive. Antoinette Tuff spoke about the ordeal today.
When he came in the door with the gun drawn. And so when me and the other teacher was looking, he said, "I'm not playing. This is for real. This is not a show."
Shots were fired, thankfully with no one injured. Young students were rushed. Many ran away from danger as police swarmed the building.
Were you scared?
Yeah.
In a bizarre twist, the gunman asked Antoinette to call our local ABC affiliate, WSB. Lacey LaCroix received the call.
And she said that she was in the school and that the gunman was there and that he wanted Channel 2 News to come to the school.
I got to the first number and it was Channel 2, and so I called Channel 2 and he says, "Tell them this, tell them to get out here."
I asked her why he wanted Channel 2 to come, and she said, "He wants you to start filming as police officers die."
He was going to end his life and take all the cops and everybody with him.
And I knew then that she was completely serious. I said, "Does he have a gun?" And she said, "Yes." And then she paused and she said, "Visible." I was scared for her. She said, "He wants me to tell you that he doesn't care if he dies."
He had a look on him that he was willing to kill. Matter of fact, he said it. He said that he didn't have any reason to live and that he knew he was going to die today. He actually tried to go out the door where the kids was, and I called him back and kept talking to him to keep him calm, to stay inside with me. Because I knew that if he got outside, that he was going to start shooting the kids. He had already shot a round off in the office with me.
When the police arrived, the gunman fired at the officers.
When we received a call and we engaged, he started to fire from inside of the school at our officers. What we know right away is that he had one or two of the staff members inside the main office.
They fired back, shattering a glass window at the entrance of the school.
He possibly fired as anywhere from half a dozen shots when he fired out of the building at police officers that were approaching the scene. And when officers had a clear shot, they returned fire.
But Antoinette was able to convince him to drop the gun.
I told him to put the guns down on the table, empty his pockets, put everything that he brought into the school, because he bought a gun bag, a book bag, he put a bag full of ammunitions in there, a bunch of magazine clips in there. He put it all down on the counter. And then I told him to lay on the floor, and he said, okay. He laid on the floor and he put his hands behind his back and he said, "Tell him that I'm on the floor."
No one was injured and the alleged shooter surrendered. He's in custody tonight. For parents waiting anxiously, the scene was chaotic. Family members waited for hours at the local Walmart to be reunited with their children. When the buses arrived with the children, parents cheered and students waved. Parents began to question how a shooter could get into their child's school.
It's very emotional. I'm just wondering, how did the person get into the school? When I go to the school to take them to school, I have like 5 minutes sometimes ringing the bell to get into the school. And this person just walks in off the street and come right into the school.
It's a feeling you can't describe. Unless you have kids, you can't describe it. It don't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, I hope that they come back for you, all right?
It's sad. I really don't know what to say because it's so frightening. You just send your children to school and you don't know if they're going to return home or what's waiting for them there. It's just really sad.
A very thankful superintendent of schools worked the crowds.
It's a blessed day. It's a tragic situation, but at the same time, we are so blessed and pleased that all of our children are safe, all of our employees are safe.
Police found a car that the shooter parked right in front of the school.
When our canine dogs hit on the vehicle, we suspect it may have been some type of explosives inside of the vehicle.
The bomb unit had to breach the trunk to check for explosives. None were found. The incident today was a scene eerily reminiscent of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting last year in Newtown, Connecticut, where 26 were killed, including 20 children between the ages of 6 and 7. There have been at least 8 cases where shooters have been on school campuses since Newtown. With the school year just beginning, many are taking precautions into their own hands. Bulletproof backpacks are being sold to protect young children. And a university in Maryland has invested in bulletproof whiteboards to keep its students safe in the classroom. David Kemp told me there's nothing like safe kids.
When you hear a gun in the school, you instantly think of other tragedies. You know, it's where your mind goes instantly. We're in a crazy time with a lot of crazy people. So just hug your kids tight, tell them you love them all the time.
Tonight, children are telling us stories of how they hid under desks when they heard the gunfire. Despite what happened, they're back to school in the morning. For Nightline, I'm Steve Osinsami in Decatur, Georgia.